Hello, I'm Chuck Bagby, and I will share with you my knowledge of how to use SAS Planet as a marine chart plotter application. This is one of a 4-part series on SAS Planet. Other videos include how to configure navionics for SAS Planet, how to connect a GPS device to SAS Planet, and how to download and install SAS Planet. No liability is assumed for damages, direct or consequential, arising from air or emissions. Not to be used for navigation. Not all hazards are shown. It is the captain's responsibility to see and avoid hazards. Let's get started with how to use SAS Planet as a marine chart plotter. SAS Planet enables the viewing of maps and charts by downloading small georeferenced image tiles from the Internet and stitching them together to form a map. These image tiles can be saved locally in a cache on the computer so that they can be viewed later when the computer is not connected to the Internet. Remember, you will always have to download the image tiles first from the Internet so that they can be stored in the cache on the computer for use later when you are not connected to the Internet. The source menu is where you configure where the image tiles come from. There are 3 choices: cache, Internet, or Internet and cache together. Cache means that the images only come from storage on your computer. Internet means that the images only come from the Internet, and SAS Planet will ignore images stored on a local computer. You will want to set this to Internet and cache. This way, SAS Planet will pull the images from the local storage cache if they exist there, or download them from the Internet and put them in a storage cache if they do not already exist in the storage cache. The Maps menu is where you choose which maps, charts, or satellite images you want to view. The choices I use are Google Satellite, Yandex Satellite, Bing Satellite, Marine Maps, Navionics Marine Charts, Marine Maps, Navionics Sonar Charts, and ESRI ArcGIS Imagery. The Layers feature is to be avoided. The Layers menu is next to the Maps menu. The choices in the drop-down list in the Layers menu are very similar to the choices in the Maps drop-down list. This can cause confusion. People accidentally make changes in the Layers menu because they think they are in the Maps menu. As an example, I would choose Navionics Marine Charts as a layer over ESRI ArcGIS Imagery. You can see that SAS Planet mixed the 2 maps together. It shows Navionics Marine Charts over the water and ESRI ArcGIS Imagery over the land. Hide All is the best choice under the Layers menu. Now, I will share with you my experience with the imagery and charts in SAS Planet. The important question is, which maps or satellite images should be used? The answer is they should all be looked at and compared with each other to determine the best for that specific location. The quality of the charts and satellite images vary a lot. The angle of the sun, wind chop, tide, and water turbidity can severely affect how well you can see down into the water to spot shallow spots. Furthermore, the satellite imagery vendors may manage their imagery so that the surface of the ocean is replaced with an overlay. This can be very deceiving, and sometimes the charts do not show obstructions. Let me show you some examples. I will scroll over to the east side of Fiji. SAS Planet does not allow scrolling past the dateline. To see the east side of Fiji, we will have to scroll west around the world and come at the dateline from the other side. Here is the east end of Rabi Island in Fiji. You can see a reef extending northeast off the end of the island. It looks like a fishhook. Let's switch to Google Satellite to see if it is on the satellite image. Nope. The Google Satellite image does not show the reef. Google has obscured the area where the reef is. They do this with the intent of showing the underwater bathymetry. Sometimes this obscures reefs that can be seen from the surface. Let's check ESRI ArcGIS imagery. Yes, ESRI ArcGIS imagery shows the reef. Here are 3 screenshots of the east end of Rabi Island. Navionics on the left and ESRI ArcGIS imagery on the right show the reef, but Google Satellite in the middle does not. So in this case, Navionics and ESRI are the heroes. You never know which satellite image or chart is the most accurate until you compare them all against each other for each location. Let's go find a place where Navionics fails to show a reef. I will scroll over to the west side of Viti Levu in Fiji. Again, there is an issue with the dateline, so I'll have to scroll around the world to the east. Here is the west coast of Viti Levu. I will zoom into a popular anchorage named Sawini Bay. I will use the distance calculation to draw a line on a chart showing the path to take into the anchorage. The chart does not show any obstructions along this path. Now switch to Google Satellite. Oops! There's a reef in the way. Let's zoom in to see more detail. You can see this is a popular anchorage. We see 3 yachts anchored here. The path that looked clear on Navionics goes through the reef. I will switch back to Navionics to confirm. Navionics fails to show the reef. Switching back to Google Satellite shows the reef. Switch to ESRI ArcGIS imagery. ESRI shows the reef. Let's try Yandex Satellite. Yandex Satellite does not have any images for this area at this zoom level. And last, Bing Maps Satellite. Bing Maps Satellite image is blurry and has clouds. Any one map or image source is not sufficient everywhere. These examples show how to compare the different images to get a better understanding of the obstructions and determine which is best for a particular location. Let's scroll back to Brisbane, Australia. We will take a look at Eparapah Creek. There is a boatyard up this creek. The only way for a keelboat to get to the boatyard is during high tide. The creek is very narrow and has many turns. Even during high tide, you need to keep the keel within the creek or you will run aground. The problem is that at high tide you cannot see the sides of the creek. Let's take a good look at the channel in SAS Planet. In the Google Satellite image, the sun is at a bad angle and the image was taken at high tide. We cannot see where the creek is. Switch to Yandex. The Yandex image is clearer, but it too was taken at high tide. We cannot see the creek. Switch to ESRI. This is a little better. We can see the sides of the creek. I will zoom in. Let's switch to Bing Maps Satellite. Ah, that's much better. The Bing Maps Satellite image was taken at low tide. We can clearly see the sides of the creek. Here is a boat that has run aground. Further along at the bend, we can see that Navionics cut the turn too tight. If we had depended on it, we would have run aground. One way to download the maps is to scroll around and view an area. You will need to do this at each zoom level. I'm going to scroll over to an area I have not downloaded before. Let's say I want to download the area around Shark Bay in Western Australia at zoom levels 11, 14, and 18. First, I will zoom into 11 and scroll around. You can see SAS Planet slowly downloading the image tiles as I zoom in and scroll around. Today I have a slow internet connection. This works when you are planning a voyage and you want to spend some time thinking about where you are going. It can be very time-consuming, and there is a faster method. You can automate the downloading of maps. Go to the Operations menu and hover over Selection Manager. Here you will see a number of choices to select an area. I will demonstrate the polygonal method of selecting an area. I will click a selection of points surrounding the area that I want to download. Now that I have defined the area that I want to download, I will click the check mark in the floating menu. This brings up the Selection Manager. In the Maps Overlay drop-down, I can choose which charts and satellite images I want to download. On the right, in the Zoom section, I can choose which zoom levels I want to download. In this case, I will choose 11, 14, and 18. The higher zoom levels require a lot more images, which will take up more space on your hard drive. Click Start. The automated downloading process will begin. I currently have a slow connection. You can see that this is going to take a long time. The Download Manager shows that it is going to take almost 15 hours to download 1.2 gigabytes. One way to reduce this is to select smaller areas for the high zoom levels. Now that you have downloaded your charts and satellite imagery, you will want to go places. I will cover the navigation tools available in SAS Planet. Under the GPS menu, you can choose Connect to GPS receiver to connect to the GPS device. A sidebar pops up giving you your speed and course. Show GPS track will show the track as you travel around. In this clip, I am currently ashore. I will walk around the pool so that you can see the track. Follow GPS position means that the map will move as you move. Centered GPS position means that the map will move to keep you centered in the view window. Add Placemark will add a placemark at your current GPS position. Add Track to Database will save your track. Delete Track will delete your track. Options is where you go to configure your GPS device. I cover this in the video, How to Connect a GPS Device to SAS Planet. Here is a past track. I will click on it to pull up the details. Under the Placemarks menu, we can choose Add a Placemark. We can add a path, if we want to save the path, we would click the disk icon. Use the Placemark Manager to edit or delete placemarks and paths. Under the Operations menu, we can choose Distance Calculation to measure distance. SAS Planet only uses kilometers. Multiply kilometers by 0.54 to get nautical miles. This is the end. I have shared with you my knowledge of using SAS Planet. If you are interested in learning more about SAS Planet, you can check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. Until next time, enjoy using SAS Planet. I'm Chuck Bagby, and we'll see you soon. If you liked this video, please click the like button below.